Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for more Quique Setien build-up. So far on the channel, I've even created a playlist now because I am absolutely hyped for the arrival of this man. We've talked already about his managerial background, we've talked about his first words as the Barcelona coach, and on that exact subject, Setien said today, wherever he's been in his career, the one thing he guarantees is that his team play good football. And on that note, we are going to be exploring Quique Setien's tactics, everything you need to know, and what we could expect him to bring to the Camp Nou. Barcelona are about to rediscover their true philosophy. Let's do this. And I want to start here with a few quotes from Setien himself, because a few years ago he said, I remember when Johan Cruyff's Barcelona came along. You played against them and you spent the whole match running after the ball. And I thought to myself, how is it possible that you can get a team to have the ball so permanently and you're then forcing the opponent to chase after you for the entire game? And Setien there went from admiring Cruyff as a player to being influenced by him as a coach. And from that moment on, he set about coaching football in the only way that he knew how. The Johan Cruyff way, because in 2018, Quique Setien actually won the award for the most Cruyffist manager. And I'm sure that Johan would be absolutely delighted here with Barcelona's appointment. He describes Pep Guardiola, Quique Setien, as a reference for thousands of coaches all over the world, and he's taken inspiration from him too on his managerial journey. And another interesting point here, because it comes as no surprise at all, that Quique Setien is a rather keen chess player, and he's even played against the world chess champions in the past. And I think, to be honest, that tells you everything about Setien that you need to know, and everything that we are going to look into today. He's calculated, he's meticulous, and he's controlled in everything that he does, and his teams are a mirror image of that. He treats the football field as one giant chessboard with high risk, high reward, high defensive line, high pressing, and high intensity football. Quique Setien is finally at the club where he truly belongs. And believe me, he's gonna look after us. And we are gonna start here today by exploring Setien's tactics. Firstly, from his time with Las Palmas, which, as we spoke about yesterday, is a very, very successful period in his coaching career. And we're also gonna look at his very big success there at Real Betis also, where he achieved his highest ever La Liga finish. But I've got to say, before we analyse the shape of the team, the structure, the formation, and the tactics that he deploys, what I have to say is, don't pay an awful lot of attention here to the formation, because Quique Setien is quite adaptive in the formations that he plays, and he said as much today. He was asked about his formation. What formation are you going to play with Barcelona? What is your setup going to be? And he actually said, the formation, that's not important. The formation is not what it's about for me. He said it's all about the philosophy. The formation can change, your shape on the field can be adaptive, but the one constant has to be your philosophy, your way of thinking. You have to think like that, not in one game, not in another game. You can't change that. You always have to believe in what you're doing and stick to those principles, no matter what. And so, if we now do take a look at Quique Setien's time, like I say, at both Las Palmas and at Real Betis, on the left-hand side there is the setup he used at Las Palmas, and on the right-hand side is the setup that he used in his first season at Real Betis. We are going to come on there to the second season in just a moment's time. But if we go between the two here, you can see, on the face of it, they're different shapes, they're different formations, but what I've just said there, the philosophy, the constant feeling with Quique Setien, it remains the same. Those same principles are used with both teams. They had very different players, they had different budgets, and it's going to be the same at Barcelona, but they will all play the same way. If we start here with Las Palmas, you've got your goalkeeper, you've got technically there a back four, you've got two holding midfield players with a wide left and right, attacking midfielder, and a striker. However, it all changes when you start to go on the front foot. The one thing you'll notice about all Quique Setien's team with Las Palmas and with Betis too, they push the fullbacks incredibly high. And it happens there at both teams. They get really, really high. And what you've got then is your two centre-backs, which you'll see at Barcelona. They will split, as we do very, very often. And the one player will always drop in here. You had somebody there at Las Palmas like Roque Mesa. At Real Betis, you had a number of players there in midfield, from Guardiola to William Carvalho, even Fabian Ruiz there for a time, who'll just drop in, and they'll be the player there that receives the ball and helps in the build-up from the back. And as we're going to come on to later, Busquets for me is one of the players who could benefit most from Setien's arrival, because what you have here then is that build-up from the back. You've got your full-backs nice and high. You'll also then shift up your defensive line. Quique Setien, no doubt about it, will play a very, very high line. You've got your midfielders here then. The attacking midfielder may drop in, and also these wide players. They're not just stuck out wide. They're not just going to play there wide for the entire game, because if those full-backs push on, what they've got license to do is come inside, play there between the spaces, support the attacker. And like I say, whether it's Las Palmas, whether it's Real Betis, those same values were absolutely constant and used throughout. And it was exactly the same sort of situation at Real Betis in that first season. You had your goalkeeper, you had the two centre-backs there, ball-playing centre-backs who would split. You'd push the full-backs nicely on, nice and high up the field. You'd have your defensive midfielder dropping in there to receive the ball, and also at times there, almost becoming a third centre-back, as we see in Setien's second season. And then you got the midfielders here, two of them there, pack in the middle of the field, because of course when you push those full-backs on, they almost become there like extra midfield players. Quique Setien will absolutely pack the middle of the field. He'll dominate the possession in that area, really get territorial advantage. And again, these wide players have the license to come inside. They can link up with the striker. They can also drop back in there and link up with the midfield. And although Setien is a coach who is going to focus predominantly there on the attacking side of the game, still, he does set his teams up to stop the counter-attack there, to stop the flow, to put in those tactical fouls. That is something you may well see with Setien as coach. But also there, you can see it, they'll work hard. You can have the left winger, you can have the right winger here, tucking in. That midfield there could make a three, very tight and close together, those three centre midfielders. And he will certainly try and have a shape about Barcelona that stops that counter-attack, to stop leaking those goals, and that could also be very important. But we simply have to move on now to the 11th of November 2018 at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 3, Real Betis 4. This right here was Quique Setien's audition. This was the moment that he came to the Camp Nou and everybody thought, why are you not in our dugout? Because he came to our stadium, he played the football right in front of our eyes that we should have been playing. He showed us what we could be achieving, he showed us what we could be aspiring towards, and he not only beat us, and beat us comfortably, but he did it with an inferior group of players. He came there, and he conquered with a Real Betis team that was decent. It was pretty good, but it was not Barcelona. But on the day, you can see here, it's a 3-4-3 formation, it's incredibly bold. The setup that he used here, coming to the Camp Nou, it included one of our own, right now, Junior Firpo here as the left wing back on this left-hand side. He played here with three centre-backs in front of Pau Lopez, Marc Bartra there, the central pin to those centre-backs. He was the player really that Quique Setien entrusted with bringing the ball out and actually stepping out of defence there, forcing it into midfield and dealing there with those transitions. You had Guardiola and William Carvalho in midfield. He played Christian Teo on the day as a right wing back. That's incredible in itself. And then in the attacking third, you had very versatile players. You had Lo Celso here, who could play central, who could also drift out wide into the wider areas, but again, you try and push Junior Firpo on as much as they possibly could, and he had a field day against Sergio Roberto on the left-hand side. You had Laurent Moran up front for Real Betis. I always felt that during Setien's time at Betis, he was really stretched in the forward areas. He never really had a true centre-forward, a really good goal scorer. And then Joaquin, who again could play out wide, he could come central and get really close here to the striker and support him, which is what he did at the Camp Nou. And Quique Setien, unbelievably, went man-to-man at the Camp Nou. And I do say incredibly, guys, because just look at that there. He literally came to the Camp Nou against Barcelona, containing Lionel Messi, containing there some of the best players in the world, and said, you know what? We are going to go 1 versus 1 on every single one of you. And they didn't just do it, they carried it out. They had a plan. They came there with a real idea, and they executed that, and they destroyed us. It may have been 4-3, but they could have won by more than that. We were lucky there to score 3 goals. They dominated the game at the Camp Nou, and it was incredible. In every single area here, Betis just followed us round. It was tenacious, it was brave. You think how much bravery there it takes for a coach to come and actually say there, you know what, we're going to press high, we're going to have a high defensive line. Betis were the highest team I have ever seen play at the Camp Nou, and honestly, it was like we were the away team. At home, even under Valverde, usually we could get results, usually we could keep the ball, but Betis, they were relentless in their play. Every single player understood their role, every single player there could execute that game plan. It was like they understood everything, crystal clear. Barcelona couldn't react, we couldn't get out. Just look at this. Because from that exact game, what you're watching here is Lionel Messi being pressed on the ball. Now, who do you think he's being pressed by? In his own half he is. He's pretty much halfway inside the Barcelona half. And you'd think there that was either one of the attacking midfielders, maybe even one of the defensive midfielders. But no, that right there, that's Marc Bartra. Marc Bartra is following Messi around. And again, think of the bravery that it takes there to come to the Camp Nou and do something like that. Marc Bartra didn't just stop there either. He went fully. He's going to press him, pressure him. He wanted that ball. Again, it's that tenacious play. And he followed in there right the way nearly to our own box. That was the kind of intensity that we saw from Setien's Betis on the day and right throughout the season. That's the kind of quality that he can bring. And just look at it here. We've seen this a few times recently with Barcelona. We were trying to play at the back. You've got Ter Stegen here, taking it long at the field. Look how high Real Betis are. They are literally standing on the halfway line. That's how high they are in the field. They look to win that first ball. They look to win that second ball. They want it more because Setien's teams work hard. Just because they have the ball, just because they dominate play, doesn't mean they don't work hard. And you look at it here with, again, Lionel Messi on the ball. Betis again, quick to get to him. Somebody there, nice and close to him. They actually win the ball. And once they turn it over, because they're that high at the field, because they've been fearless in their approach, when you win the ball there, look at the options they have. Look how high in the field they are then to force an attack. And that's what worked for them. All day long, they were relentless, they were impressive, they were absolutely outstanding, and all of that, it was orchestrated by Quique Setien. That's a sign of things to come. And just finally, guys, one thing that I do have to say is that it wasn't just Barcelona. It wasn't just Barcelona that suffered humiliation at the hands of Real Betis, because they went to nearly every single other club and did the same. Setien's teams were absolutely fearless. They feared no one. They went to the Bernabeu and they won. Back in September 2017, it was a 1-0 win. I remember it very, very well. They were in the game for the majority of it. They were pressing Real Madrid. They were really going for them, and they got their reward through Tony Sanabria in the final moments of the game. But you know what? Setien didn't just win once at the Bernabeu. No. It wasn't just a one-off. He won back-to-back times, because he also won there in his final ever game as Real Betis coach. Real Madrid 0, Real Betis 2. That was the way that he signed off. And now, he's the Barcelona coach. So that there, guys, is what I feel we can expect from Quique Setien in terms of a tactical outlook. But of course, we have more videos to come on the channel. That was an introduction there into the tactics of Setien. But now we've got to apply it to Barcelona. How are we going to play? What is he going to do with this team? What is the shape going to be? All of that is going to be coming up very soon for you guys. Thanks for watching as always. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, I'll see you soon. But until next time, as always, Vasca el Barça.
Barça, Barça.